Are you ready for 2025? Or are you like me and telling time to slow down? Because holy crap, I am not ready one little bit. But that's okay. Together, we will embrace our messy minds and make the most of this magical year.
Welcome to Runs on Espresso,
where we combine planning and creativity to cross things off our to-do list. If you watched my last video, I will link it up across the top, then you know that my 2024 planner stack changed a lot over the year. And part of that is having ADHD. Sometimes something will work with me for a while, and then for whatever reason, I need to change it up because my old system is no longer serving me. So that is what happened in 2024. And now I am ready to move into 2025 and try to refine that system a bit more, maybe make a few more tweaks and changes. And I think I spent way too much time thinking about this because, hey, we got a messy mind over here, but it's all in the spirit of crafting a system that supports my most magical life. We will start with the actual planners that I'm going to use in 2025. There are technically 4 of them. First up is the Happy Planner Vertical. This is the Beetlejuice planner. And I had to have the Beetlejuice box. This came in it, and I thought, you know, this planner is both practical, but it has that kind of edgy punk rock, dark vibe that I love. So instead of buying a separate vertical planner, I figured I would just use this one. And typically what I use this for, I like to be in the middle of the book for when I have them open. Typically what I use my weekly planner for is a general overview. I put a lot of the events and meetings that I have up here. I usually tend to decorate in the middle boxes, and then I put tasks or workouts or something else down here that I want to remember. I use this in conjunction with another planning tool. So everything goes in my Google Calendar. It is color-coded. I have everything in here, repeating tasks, bills, work events, and this goes with me everywhere. So it's always with me, and then when I come home, I can transfer it into my vertical planner. Because for me with ADHD, having that extra step of writing it down really helps cement it in my brain as opposed to just putting it in my phone. So if I'm out and about and I make an appointment, it goes in here, come home, I put it in my planner. This also helps for those random like quarterly tasks that I might forget about otherwise. I just put it in once, put a repeat on it, and it reminds me every time that I have something coming up. These 2 are the brains of the operation. They hold the big picture items. Then for those weekly tasks, daily tasks, everything else, I have an Archer and Olive bullet journal. This is the A5 size. And I really like using a bullet journal because obviously there's nothing in here. So I can make it fit what I need it to be. So one week I might have a bunch of tasks that take up like all of these pages. Some weeks I might not have as much and can do more decoration. I said in my previous video that my bullet journal setup for the past like 5 or 6 months has been working really well for me. So I plan to continue that forward. At the front, I'll have some kind of like annual trackers or annual tasks. Then I'll go into Q1 and then January and each month after that. And lastly is the Budget Mom Budget by Paycheck. This will be for all of my budgeting stuff. And I did shoot a separate review walkthrough video of this. I will link that up above as well. This is the smaller size, and I'm so glad she came out with this because it is, even though it is a chonky boy, I like that it's not as tall or as wide as the original size. And there you have all of my actual planning tools for 2025. Trying to keep it fairly simple. Next, I'm going to talk about some of the different journals and notebooks I'm going to use to kind of hold all that extra stuff. This first notebook is my attempt to bring some order to my domestic chaos. There's no calendar pressure. It's just going to be for tracking maintenance, cleaning, and all those other boring but important home tasks. And maybe some projects like redoing my office, the backyard design, things like that. This one is a focused productivity book from Erin Condren. And what is nice about it is it's pretty flexible. You have a fully lined page over here. And then on this side, you have some different options. You have lined sections, but they're divided. So you could do different, either like a quarter planning or a project planning type thing. So let's say you have some tasks that you want to do over different quarters or different months. You could do January, February, March, list out what you want to do. You have a checklist over here for anything else that you would need during that time. And then a blank space for whatever you need. Or let's say you want to do something like redo a room in your house. You could brainstorm ideas here. This you could make into a timeline. Again, you could do January, February, March. Or these could be maybe, flooring needs, wall needs, furniture needs. And then your checklist of the steps or things you want to buy. And then you could use this spot here to do a little sketch of your project. And that's really all that's in this notebook is these 2 pages. So it's very flexible. There's no because this is a month, I have to use it in April. And then if you don't use it in April, then you feel bad. So hopefully having a dedicated notebook for home projects, home tasks will help me get that stuff all organized and going. In 2024, I used a Hobonichi day free for planning out memory keeping spreads. And I'm kind of updating that, and I'm going with a Happy Planner notebook. And this is going to also include different art and craft planning. One of the reasons I wanted to move into this notebook was, one, I didn't like the Tomo River paper in the Hobonichi Day Free. I know, I'm a weirdo. 2, I found I didn't end up using the calendars that much. I tried and I did it for, 6 months. And then I realized that it wasn't a function that I really needed. And I also like that I can move these pages around. So let's say I start a project here and then I start a different project here, and then I want to go back to my original project, I could just take out that, and then I've got my first project all back together. So I really like the idea of being able to move things around. And then I also like that the Happy Planners have sections. So the first section is going to be my memory keeping spread section. And let's say I also fill up all these pages. I can just add more pages in. Then I'm going to do art projects. And then lastly, craft projects or other craft, like I want to learn how to crochet, so maybe I'll make some notes in here about what I'm learning type thing. And I really like having the idea of a arts and craft notebook because creativity is part of what fuels my soul, my happiness, all of that stuff. So it helps to make my life feel a bit more magical. The last 2 years, I used a square notebook for my reading journal, and then I had a separate media journal in 2024, and I put books in there too, so I was kind of doing double duty, so I'm going to put them all in one, and I'm going to do it by month. Like my reading journals have always been monthly, but my media journal, I was just putting things in there as I finished them, and I did put dates of the books, but I didn't put any dates for the TV shows or the movies. So I kind of have an idea of when I started or ended those, but I think doing everything monthly in here will really help. And then I'll have it all streamlined in one notebook. The B5 from Archer and Olive is going to be my goal planning notebook. So I'll start out by planning out my 2025 goals in here, and then I'll figure out what I want to do during the first quarter. And once I have all those figured out, each month, like January, I'll pull out my bullet journal, figure out what I need to do in here each month in here in order to accomplish my goals. So these will kind of work in tandem. This isn't really a full-on like planner. This is just kind of figuring it out. And lastly, I have 2 notebooks that I'm using for my memories and daily journaling. This one is the Archer and Olive Square Story Notebook. And I actually got this one in lined because I wanted to use it for journaling. And I'll give you a little, I had to start it in December because I ran out of room in my other one, but that will just continue on into 2025. I like to use stickers and markers and colorful pens to make it fun, to make sure I sit down and journal a little bit most nights. And then the Archer and Olive Amy Tangerine undated planner is where I'm going to do my weekly, daily memory keeping. So some of this, isn't that pretty? Some of this will be pages I don't really use. Like these I won't use. I might doodle on there or something, plan, I don't know. I won't use the monthly overview, but this is where I will actually do my daily memory keeping. I'm not a huge fan of this layout, but it is what it is, and I've got it, so I might as well use it. I had thought about drawing out the weeks in a notebook like this, and then journaling for the month, then draw out the next month, journal behind that, but since I had this, and it would be a little bit easier, I'm going to go ahead and use it. So the notes column here, I will probably note, what I'm reading, what I'm watching, any other kind of thing that might span over multiple days. And then each night I'll sit down and put stickers or doodles or notes about what happened each day. This is where I capture all those little sparks of joy and magic that are in each day. Then I go into more details about things in here, and then I can use both of these as tools when I'm doing things like Project Life or other memory keeping projects. Whether your system is simple or stacked, I'd love to hear what tools you're using to embrace your messy and make your life magical in 2025. Thanks for joining me, Creative Souls. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and make sure to leave a comment below. I'd love to hear how you're embracing your messy mind. Don't forget to find me on Instagram, Facebook, Discord, all those places. Links in the description box below. And until next time, stay messy, stay magical, and keep shining.